Alright guys, now that we have a graph that's completed, what can you observe from the graph? Well, the two most things I want to observe is the x and the y-intercept and the slope. So the x-intercept is 48. The y-intercept is 16. And the slope is 1/3. Excuse me, it's going down, negative 1/3. So if you go back and look at the graph, we go down 1/3, down 1/3, down 1/3. That is the slope of this graph. So linear equations can be written in slope-intercept form, which we already talked about, which is y equals mx plus b, where m represents the slope and b represents the y-intercept. Linear equations can also be written in standard form. The standard form of a line of equation is ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c represents integers. Those are positive and negative numbers. And a and b are not both 0. So one of them can be 0, but not both of them. And a needs to be positive. In this general form, the variable terms are on the left side of the equation, and the constant term is on the right side. So guys, why do we use this new form? Why do we use ax plus by equals c? So I want to let you know the main purpose, the one and only purpose, is to find the x and the y-intercept. So anytime you hear standard form, I want you to think of x and y-intercept. So let's go ahead and look at this. I have this formula, 2x plus 6y equals 96. And I want to convert this into slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. We've done this numerous times. So all we're going to do is minus 2x on both sides, which will give me 6y equals negative 2x plus 96. I'm then going to divide each and every term by 6, which will give me y equals negative 6 reduces to negative 1/3 x plus 16. Here is the equation of the line. So when I look at it in slope-intercept form, examine your graph on y equals 2x plus 6y equals 6. Does the graph show the same slope and y-intercept stated above? So if you look at this graph, I got the equation y equals negative 1/3 x plus 16. 16 is my b value. It's my y-intercept, which is located right here. So that is good. And we already went over my slope. My slope is negative 1/3. I went down 1/3, down 1/3. And we can continue this process of just going down 1/3. So yes, it does. So yes, it does. So I want you guys to look at these rules. These rules will help you with standard form. So we're going to continue to explore this idea, but what I would like you guys to do on the left-hand side on the blank sheet is write these rules down. So rules for standard form is x and y must be on the same side of the equal sign. In fact, they always need to be on the left side of the equal sign. Now your a value, remember it's the coefficient of x, must be positive. So the number attached to x needs to be positive. And we're going to look at how to fix this, but there can be no fractions and no decimals. So if it does have a fraction or a decimal, we need to do a fraction buster or a decimal buster. So it says write an equation in slope-intercept form with the given slope and y-intercept, then rewrite it in standard form. So what I want to do is I have this information, and then I'm going to convert it into standard form. So first I need to write it in y equals mx plus b form. This would look like y is equal to 6x plus 10. 6 is my y-intercept, 6 is my slope, and b is my y-intercept, so 10 is my y-intercept. Now I need to rewrite this as standard form. Remember the rules. A needs to be positive, ax, by needs to be on the same side, and there can be no fractions or no decimals. So if I'm given this in slope-intercept form, my first step is I want to move my variables to the left side. The only thing I have is this 6x, so I'm going to minus 6x on both sides. This will give me negative 6x plus y is equal to 10. Now that it's written in standard form, what I need to do is make sure my a value is positive. Now you guys see how this negative 6 is attached to x? That is my a value, and it is negative. So to fix that, what I'm going to do is divide each and every term by negative 1. This will give me negative divided by a negative is a positive 6x minus y is equal to negative 10. This is my answer in standard form. Alright, now let's look at this one. I have another equation. I have the equation y equals, my m value is negative 8x plus my b value is 0. I don't need that there, so it's just y equals negative 8x. You don't need the plus 0. Now in order to write y equals negative 8x, which is currently in slope-intercept form, into standard form, I need my variables on the left side of the equal sign. So what I'm going to do is add 8x onto both sides to have 8x plus y equals, well, there's nothing left on the right side, and a good number for nothing is just 0. Alright, now my next one, I have slope-intercept form. I have this equation. Let's go and plug in my m, and let's plug in my b. It would be y equals 1/2 x minus 5. This is slope-intercept form. Now what I want to do is convert this slope-intercept form into standard form. So there's a few ways we can do this. The first thing that I personally like doing is getting rid of any fractions that I see. This one obviously has a fraction, so what I need to do is a fraction buster. And I can do that by multiplying each and every term by 2. If I multiply each term by 2, I would have 2y is equal to 1/2 times 2 is just 1, and 1 times x is just x, minus 10. The next thing what I want to do is get the x's, all the variables on the left side of the equal sign. So I'm going to minus x on both sides. That would give me negative x plus 2y is equal to negative 10. My last step, what I want to do is get rid of any negatives. Excuse me, I take that back. My next step, what I want to do is to make sure that my a value, the number attached to x, is positive. Right now it's negative, so what I'm going to do is divide each and every term by negative 1. This would give me x minus 2y is equal to positive 10. This is your final answer in standard form. Remember the rules. X and y are on the left side of the equal sign. My x value is positive, and there are no fractions and no decimals. Alright, so let's go and look at this one. We're going to have even more tricky because we're going to have even more fractions and decimals and stuff. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to write this in standard form. My m value is negative 3/4. My b value is 6. So this would look like y equals, instead of m, I'm going to write negative 3/4 x plus 1/6. The next thing what I want to do is, and then we're done. That's how it is in slope-intercept form. So if I want to convert slope-intercept form into standard form, the first thing I personally like doing is getting rid of the fractions. So I look at 4 and 6, and I want to think, what is my least common denominator, my least common multiple, and that is 12. That means I'm going to multiply each and every term by 12. This would give me 12y is equal to negative 36 over 4x plus 12 over 6. This would reduce to 12y equals negative 9x plus 2. Now remember, you need to have both variables on the left side of the equal sign, so I'm going to add 9x to both sides, which will give me a final answer of 9x plus 12y is equal to 2. Last thing you want to make sure is that your a value, remember the a value is attached to x, is positive. This is a positive 9, so I am done there. Now guys, I want you to realize this is our first exposure with standard form. Remember, standard form is just another way to describe the line, and it looks like ax plus by equals c. So when we talked about slope-intercept form, I always told you that was y equals mx plus b. What we're going to do is, when I talk about standard form, I want you to think of ax plus by equals c. As a quick reminder, write this down somewhere in your notes. Standard form is used for only one reason, and that's to find x and y intercepts. That's the only reason why we use it, is to find those 2 points. Alright guys, you still have module 3.1e, so go ahead and stop this video and start 3.1e.